drama, suspense, action, betrayal, tragedy. No, this isn't a review for the latest Aquaman or Pirates of the Caribbean movie. These are just a few of the words that can be used to describe the chaos of the trial that is pitting Johnny Depp against Amber Heard. This trial has captured the attention of the entire country and has been as twisty and turny as some of these actors' best or worst movies. Honestly, this trial has started a lot of really important conversations about domestic violence, mental health, and all kinds of emotional and physical abuse, and how we as a society really like to view these situations as black or white. How did we even get here? It's been over 10 years in the making, from co-stars to spouses to exes, and now defendants in possibly career-altering defamation trials in multiple countries. You can't write this stuff, folks. Hopefully, we'll all be able to look back on this one day and say, wow, remember how dramatic and horrible that trial was? So happy it ended with a happy ending, but baby, today is not that day. Obviously, there is a big trigger warning for the rest of this video as we do discuss violence and other topics that may be difficult for some viewers. With that said, I'm Myrick, and here are some of the most shocking things that we've learned so far in the trial between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Some context here. Things haven't always been crazy and toxic and racked with legal drama. There was once a time when these two were like any normal couple. Well, any normal couple with millions of dollars and even more millions of fans between them. The couple met in 2009 on the movie The Rum Diary. The two didn't start dating on the movie, but Depp recently testified during the trial that he felt something he should not be feeling while they were on set. They both were seeing other people, but Heard agreed that she, quote, felt chemistry beyond her job. The two crossed paths again 3 years later. Johnny had glowing things to say about Amber at the time, praising her, saying she was attentive, she was loving, she was smart, she was kind, she was funny, she was understanding. We had many things in common, certain blues music, literature. For that year and a half, it was amazing. After dating for 2 years, the couple got engaged in 2014 and married in 2015. Even just a year later, things got allegedly very rocky between the pair. We'll get into it later, but it involved allegedly a pile of something not so pleasant on their bed. After 15 months of marriage, the pair called it, with Amber filing for divorce from the Pirates of the Caribbean star in 2016. The pair released a joint statement at the time saying, "Our relationship was intensely passionate and at times volatile, but always bound by love." In 2018, Heard wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post about women who suffered from domestic violence. While she never explicitly mentioned Johnny Depp by name, it was widely assumed that the article was one big subtweet to Johnny. The world was quick to react. Johnny lost jobs left and right. That man lived in the unemployment line. He was untouchable for most Hollywood studios, as Hollywood quickly decided that if Johnny Depp was about to get canceled, he was gonna get canceled alone. And just like that, the lawsuits began. That brings us to the meat of this video, the absolute bombshell shockers that have come to light due to this very, very public trial. Once again, trigger warning for about every trigger in the book, because this gets messy very fast. Amber's rotting what? A lot of this trial has been Depp and Heard reading off past texts to each other and to and from close friends about each other. In one very strange and twisted text Johnny Depp sent to his friend, he had some very, very graphic words to say about the woman he used to love. During his cross-examination, he said that he wasn't proud of the language he used. Several of these texts were to fellow celebrity Paul Bettany, one of many celebrities who have publicly backed Johnny Depp and quite publicly bashed Amber Heard. One of the biggest revelations to come from this trial have been specifics from Heard herself and medical professionals about the alleged domestic violence in the relationship. The 2018 op-ed shed some light on Amber's alleged experiences in the relationship, but the explosive testimony that she and her doctors delivered on the stand was jaw-dropping, to say the least. There were accounts of hair being ripped out of Amber's head, accompanied with photos, videos showing Depp engaging in physical intimidation in the form of smashing cabinets and destroying furniture at their home. Heard detailed for the first time that Depp was allegedly violent and mentioned alcohol and drug use.
Like, It was clear it wasn't a joke anymore.
We also found out from the case that Johnny Depp and Disney had planned a proper goodbye for his extremely popular character, Captain Jack Sparrow. Obviously, that plan was cut short, because if there is one thing Disney is gonna do, it's fire you at the first sign of trouble. In his testimony, Depp states that just days after Heard's article was released, he was dropped from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Depp has had a lot to say in his testimony about how this has affected him.
I mean, I would be a real simpleton to not think that there was an effect on my career based on Ms. Heard's words.
He said, Captain Jack Sparrow was a character that I built from the ground up and was something that he put a lot of himself into. He didn't quite understand how, after that long relationship, that suddenly he was guilty until proven innocent. Another big part of the trial so far has been the dueling depictions of each of the stars' mental health and the nature of their relationship from psychologists on both sides. A clinical psychologist hired by Amber Heard's lawyers gave a bone-chilling testimony that she diagnosed Heard with post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, as a result of alleged intimate partner violence that Heard suffered at the hands of her ex, Johnny Depp.
And did you arrive at any diagnostic conclusions?
Yes, I did. I diagnosed Ms. Heard with post-traumatic stress disorder. The cause was the intimate partner violence by Mr. Depp.
This psychologist spent 29 hours with Heard conducting a forensic psychological evaluation. According to the psychologist, Ms. Heard's report of intimate partner violence and the records that she reviewed are consistent with what we know in the field about intimate partner violence, characterized by physical violence, psychological aggression, coercive control, and surveillance behaviors. On the other hand, psychologists hired by Johnny Depp's team came to a completely different conclusion, diagnosing Heard with histrionic and borderline personality disorder. Histrionic personality disorder specifically describes exaggerated emotions and attention-seeking behaviors.
And this cluster is described as the personality disorders that are dramatic, erratic, and emotional, unpredictable.
While HBPD is an official diagnosis among psychologists in the field, many mental health professionals say it's outdated, sexist, and stigmatizing. A couple of the symptoms described are, quote, uncomfortable when not the center of attention, and seductive or provocative behavior. For sure, one of the strangest revelations of this trial was something that came up pretty early on that the internet has simply had a field day with. Apparently, after a fight following a dinner party for Amber Heard's birthday in 2016, Depp alleges that either Amber or a friend of Amber's literally pooped on a bed they were sharing. Like, actual poop.
It was a photograph of the bed, and on my side of the bed was human fecal matter.
Quote, my initial response to that was, I laughed, said Depp about Poopgate. It was so outside, it was so bizarre and so grotesque that I could only laugh. Amber Heard blamed their dogs, but Depp pressed that their dogs being responsible was pretty much impossible. Quote, they're teacup Yorkies. They weigh about 4 pounds each. I lived with those dogs. I picked up their funk. It was not the dogs, end quote. Speaking of those teacup Yorkies though, it was also alleged in the trial that Depp held one of those dogs out of a moving car window while howling like an animal.
And he grabs this teacup Yorkie and holds Boo out of the window of the moving car.
She goes on to say, and everyone in the car, I'll never forget it, everyone just froze. No one did anything.
And I too was like torn as to what I should do, because I didn't want to do anything to cause him to react, drop the dog.
There were parts of this trial that played out like a horror movie. The depiction of violence and turmoil in this relationship truly makes your hair stand up. There was a violent incident in 2015, shortly after the pair had been married in Australia while Johnny was filming the Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. There were allegedly drugs involved, and Depp cut his hand pretty badly, either by a bottle thrown by Heard or a plastic telephone that Depp broke himself. There's a huge possibility that both of them are very, very much in the wrong, or that one of them is more in the wrong than the other. But it would be crazy for me not to point out the kind of lopsided public and popular reaction and response to this couple before much evidence came out at all. The world very, very quickly rallied around Johnny Depp and turned on Amber Heard before the trial even began. That's just a fact.
Do I think he personally did it? No. I've loved him since I was 3. He was Captain Jack Sparrow. He was my Disney childhood.
There is a ton we don't know yet, and there are for sure more bombshells to fall in the coming weeks. We'll keep an eye out for it for you, and who knows, you may even be in store for a round 2 of this video. I'm Eric Myrick with The Things. Leave your comments on the trial of the century below.